Hello guys, my name's RS84 or Relaxa84. I obviously do not mind. Anyways, today guys we are reading 4 short creepy stories from the subreddit that is called Let's Not Meet. Number 1, Fake Cop. One night me and 4 of my friends were going to a waterfall at a state park. And to get there, you have to take a bunch of back roads, but we knew where we were going. We noticed a police car starting following us on every turn, and my friend who was driving tried to take an extra turn to get rid of him, thinking maybe he just needed to get around us, but he followed. This went on for a while before she finally found a place to try to turn around, but the car immediately pulled in behind us, blocking the exit, then turns his sirens on. We saw him getting out and coming to the car. My friend in the passenger seat got her pepper spray ready, so he gets to the window, not in uniform, giving us no proof of identification. He's quite young for a sheriff, which is what his car is labeled. He tells he isn't on duty, but they called him and said we ran a stop sign, and he thought we must be lost. Okay, what? He said he starts asking us questions about where we're from. We're at college, asking us if we were headed to the falls, saying we must be freshmen if we don't know how to get out there, even asking what phone service we used. I was sitting in the back seat behind the driver, and I could see him kept fiddling with something behind his back. Finally, he tells us to follow him to the end of the street and then turn left. When we got to the end of the street, he motioned us to pull up beside him. So we do, and he tells us to watch out for deer. He told us he slammed one just the other night, cackles at himself, and peels out the opposite direction. Luckily, then we were going. Mind you, we were 4 19-year-old girl in a car with a college sticker and some girly-looking bumpy stickers. Not sure what this guy was up to, but thank God there were 4 of us and not just one. Shady guys claiming to be a police officer. Let's not meet again. Number 2. My father was chased by a killer. This is my father's story. As a child, my father was a paper boy, and he would get up very early in the morning to deliver them. My father would always end up with a few extra papers, so at the end of his route, he would offer papers to the other early birds leaving for work and whatnot. On this day, my father offered a man who was sitting a parked van. The man just stared at my dad and didn't respond, so my dad just went on his way. As my dad was walking away, he heard a car door open and the sound of feet hitting the pavement. He turned around and saw a man running after him. My dad was very athletic in his day. He played basketball, baseball, so he took off running. The man chased him for a bit, but my dad knew the neighborhood like the back of his hand and cut through backyards and hopped fences. He eventually lost the man and got home safely. He didn't tell his parents because he figured they would make him quit. A few weeks passed by and 2 local boys went missing, and their bodies were found at a campground. They were raped and then shot in the head. The man who committed the awful crime was William J. Wright. When my father saw him in the newspaper, he recognized him as a man who chased him. Number 3. Creep on the street. So this story happened about 10 years ago, when I was around 10 years old. I am not sure exactly how old I was, but I was young and in elementary school, so let's go with around 10. I lived 3 houses down from my second cousin and my best friend at the time, Anna, who was just 1 year younger than me. It happened during the summer break from school. We lived in a very safe neighborhood and used to play out on the street every day, all day, just going to our houses to eat. On that day, I absolutely remember when we were rollerblading up and down our street. We saw a man pacing around and watching us. He was tall, skinny, pale, had black greasy hair, and wore a sweater. Midday on a hot summer day, for some reason, being young, naive, and stupid, we thought what he was doing was funny, so we kept rollerblading by him. Probably on the second time we passed him, he started touching himself down there. sorry guys, touching himself down there, watching us pass by. At that point, we were creeped out, but we weren't sure if that really just happened, so we passed him again. And he had his thing completely out, stroking, and he dropped his pants to the ground right in front of us, still stroking and smiling, mind you. This was the middle of the day, probably early afternoon, on a nice summer day. We got so scared, we were feeling so violated and terrified. We hurried to my house. It was closer, even though he was only 3 more houses down. We told my parents what has happened, and they called the police. I remember it took them very long to come in, and of course the man was gone by the time they did. Me and Anna were asked some questions by the police. A report was made. They even sent a helicopter to look for a man, but they never found him. As far as I know, thankfully, we never saw him again. And lastly, number 4, a terrifying night at work. This happened many years ago when I was an undergraduate student. I worked at a well-known convenience store chain. This particular Monday night, I was working till 11:30 p.m. I was the only employee from 9 on. It was an older store and space was limited, so it was cramped. The only cameras were aimed at the cash register of the store. The store was located between the university classrooms and the student housing. It was close enough to walk from campus and back to get snacks, drinks before classes. But business was fairly slow after 9 p.m. during the week. I was stocking the shelves when a man entered. He wore a brown jacket and faded blue jeans. He went to the back of the store by the beer coolers. He was wearing sunglasses when he came up to the counter with a 12-pack of Bud. My hair rose on the back of my neck. It was dark out, and this customer put on sunglasses. He pulled out a gun, aimed it at my face, and told me to empty the till. He didn't ask about the cash drop or safe. He grabbed up the cigars on the counters and told me to empty the overhead cigarette bins and lottery tickets. He also took my wallet. I thought for sure I was going to die. When he had me lay on the floor behind the counter, I closed my eyes and started praying. I exhaled a huge sign of relief when I heard the door chimes. He wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed. He had hit several convenience stores of several chains. He was caught trying to cash in lottery tickets. He had stolen credit cards on him as well. Dude in crappy brown jacket, let's not meet again. Alright guys, I hope you did enjoy that video. It was super short. It's probably under 10 minutes, I know that for a fact, but make sure you guys do subscribe to the channel. More creepy stories are coming out, and if you do like wrestling content and that type of stuff, you can go over and check out my TEW content, which is Total Extreme Wrestling. It's a wrestling booking simulator. It's exactly what it sounds like, and there's a whole community on it. And go check out channels like 370 Gaming and Total Team Talks and all that type of stuff. I'll see you guys in the next episode. See you guys there. Goodbye.